After being welcomed to an empty arena in Jacksonville nearly a year ago, the UFC goes back to Jacksonville with a full arena for UFC 261, 3 titles on the line. We haven't seen Zhang Weili yet in the pandemic era. It's nice to see her back. But I want to ask you first and foremost about these 3 title fights. Give me the number one thing that intrigues you about each of them.
That intrigues me what? About
each title fight.
Oh, God. Well, obviously, Weili Zhang, this absolute savage beast will be taking on Rose Namajunas, the absolute number one contender. Weili is strong and powerful, kicks and punches, whereas Rose is very slick, great movement, great hands, and usually catches people with stuff they don't see coming. That's a fun fight. Shevchenko, who has been absolutely unstoppable going in against, I think, the toughest fight of her, other than when she was at 135 pounds, taking on Nunes and things like that. But in this weight class, I think that Andrade is going to be the toughest test for her yet. And, if she blows through Andrade, I don't know. I don't know what we do about talking about these 3 women. Should they all win? Should Amanda Nunes beat Pena, and then Shevchenko wins against Andrade, and Weili Zhang beats, you got really 3 of the baddest women in the world. And then the main event, this is the fight that Masvidal was saying, I took this fight on short notice. I came in and fought you on short notice, flew halfway around the world to come fight you. And Usman saying, I want this fight because I want no excuses. I want to beat you definitively, and we can never have this conversation again.
I'm curious what Usman said to you when he was in your office, right after his last win. Before he left, he sat down with you and made the pitch for Masvidal. What did he say?
I just, he's at a point in his career now where he's looking at, who's next again. He's coming back and going to be facing guys that he's already beat. So Masvidal took that fight on short notice. So let's give him this fight, and we can do away with all the excuses. And then Colby Covington's next.
Now, I spoke to Ali Abdelaziz, who manages Kamaru Usman, last week. Now, tell me if this is accurate. He told me you believe that Usman is the best welterweight of all time. Yeah. Can you corroborate this?
Yeah, I just think that if you look at what this guy's done, every time he fights, he looks better and better. He's literally fought everybody out there, and now he's going for a second run, on these guys. And the fight with him and Colby Covington is one of the best fights I've ever seen.
The thing that I think people hold against Usman is the lack of title defenses compared to George, but I'll defend him in this case. There are so many more challengers at welterweight these days than there were during George St. Pierre's era, and he had a lot of trouble getting fights with guys in the top 10. People wouldn't sign to fight this guy. I think he could have been champion probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, had he gotten the right matchups earlier.
I agree with you. And you said it, the division is stacked with killers right now. And, like I say, the fight with him and Colby Covington, love him or hate him or whatever your deal is with him, is one of the best fighters in the world. Very, very good fighter, and that fight was incredible. And both guys had to dig deep in that fight. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen, ever.
So do you think Covington does need to fight one more time before he gets another shot at Usman if Usman does win, or Masvidal? I mean, there's beef there too.
Who knows? Anything can happen. I mean, guys get injured, things happen, timing, who knows? You can never, especially in this day and age, but that should be the fight that happens next.
Is he weighing in?
Yes, he'll weigh in. Wait, no, he's not. No, who's the backup for that fight? There isn't one. No.
Okay, because he had mentioned that he was thinking of coming down and weighing in, that he was going to be at the event.
Yeah. No.
With Weili, she's coming back, and there's also a lot of other Asian fighters on this card. Was that by design?
Just the way that it played out.
So with Weili, what do you think we're going to see from her that we haven't seen last time? It seems every single time she fights, we see new improvements to her game. With Rose, the one thing she hasn't really faced is somebody who's a real submission artist, and I think Rose fits that bill.
I agree with you 100%. Weili, as badass as she is and as talented, and she's the world champion, there's still a lot of things that are green about her. She still gets better every time she fights. She looks stronger every time she fights. it was a good layoff for her after that war that she had with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So she had some time to heal up and improve and get better. So this should be, stylistically, should be a very, very good fight.
You mentioned Wei Li, the time off. What about Joanna? Have you heard from her at all about what she wants to do?
Joanna just hit us up last week, I think, wants to come back.
Anybody in mind? I mean, I don't know what's going on with Tatiana Suarez. I hear she's recovering, starting to train again. Do you have any idea what her
Nothing
timeline
yet.
is?
We don't have anything yet.
Let's touch on a couple things that happened this past weekend. Robert Whittaker with a massive win. This guy's just looked untouchable since he lost to Israel. Is he next in line? I imagine that would be the thing that makes the most sense, given that he's the number one contender.
100%, yeah. So, again, that's going to all determine on, what do these guys got going on in their personal life. And, if we can make that fight, then that's the fight we'll make. If not, we'll do Vettori.
When does Israel want to come back? Have you spoken to him at all?
I think Israel's ready. I think Israel want to fight this summer.
Okay, so that would make a lot of sense.
He wants to fight over there, which we want too. Love to have a fight in Australia or New Zealand, but they're still on lockdown over there. I can't go over there and quarantine all my people. So hopefully, they open up or we figure something else out somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess if everybody went down, they'd all have to quarantine for 2 weeks, something along those lines?
Can't happen.
Now, going back to this weekend again, you have Drakkar Klose and Jeremy Stephens squaring off. Scary incident where he gets pushed, Klose gets pushed, can't compete, gets a concussion, whiplash, something along those lines. Is there going to be a new rule implemented of some sort about these guys laying hands on each other at the face-off?
I mean, there is a rule. I mean, that's why we're there. Sean Shelby missed that one. Sean Shelby, Sean and I see the thing differently. I saw it on social media and called him immediately. I was at my daughter's I was in Orlando at the ESPN cheerleading competition.
Oh, wow.
And I saw the thing happen on social media, and I called Sean. I was like, dude, where was your head on that one? He was coming in hot, and it's Jeremy Stephens. He's a savage. I mean, yeah, we're not standing there to look good and take pictures. We're there to make sure that doesn't happen.
So what's the latest on his health situation? Is that one getting rebooked sometime soon, or do you need to just wait and see?
He's a young, healthy guy. He'll get better, but it's unfortunate, and it should have never happened.
Now, one thing a lot of people are talking about coming out of this weekend is that Triller event with Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Did you end up betting money on Ben? I know Snoop was calling you out at the end of the show, but I heard you in an interview say you're not taking this at even money. You're taking the plus money.
The one guy in the United States that actually listened to the interview. Exactly. Not only was I not going to take even money when I could bet it legally, I'm not going to bet illegally, number one. Just so we're clear, and the IRS and everybody else knows, I did not make a bet for $1 million or $2 million, and I would not ever make an illegal bet. And number two, yes, I can bet it legally in Las Vegas or with DraftKings at 2-1. Why would I take that bet? So no, I did not bet.
Now, to prove that I do watch your interviews as well, you bet $1 million on Pavlik versus Taylor. Did you bet anything on this fight?
That is true. I did bet on that one, and I was on the wrong end of that one. No, I did not bet on this fight.
Did you end up watching the event? Because there was a lot of people commenting on all the musical acts and all of the lack of combat, so to speak, that took place during the event.
Yeah, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings in Orlando. I watched it at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Orlando, and they had, because I was watching the UFC fight, and they had that fight on in there too.
Did they have the volume on for it?
They had the UFC volume on.
Okay, I was going to say you always scout new talent, and I was thinking maybe Oscar De La Hoya, we could see him in the broadcast booth for the UFC.
Yeah, I heard he was awesome. Yeah. Frank Mir didn't want to pick on him, but I will.
Frank Mir looked good against a veteran boxer in Cunningham.
Yeah. Very nice of you.
All right. Well, outside of the atmosphere and gate that's going to come with having fans back this weekend, what are you most looking forward to about having a building full of fans in Jacksonville?
I can't even tell you how excited I am. I can't wait to get to Jacksonville. And, I always watch the prelims in my room. Then I go out for the main card. And I can't wait to walk out of that tunnel with a packed arena full of fans. And it's It's been a long time coming. I'm very excited for it.
I feel like this is one where maybe you should be there from the first fight, because judging by when you had a third of the building in Abu Dhabi, it sounded like it was a full house when you were watching it on TV.
Yeah, no, it's going to be incredible, man. It's going to be, you know, I've had a lot of really cool moments in my career. This is going to be a big one on Saturday night.
The poster just came out for the next pay-per-view. You've got the main event, Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler, and the co-main event, Leon Edwards against Nate Diaz. That fight kind of came out of left field. How did that one come together?
I don't understand. What do you mean out of left field? That's how we made the. We don't even have the co-main event for Vegas yet. You make the main event and then you build the undercard underneath it. That's what we do every time.
I understand. I mean the matchup. I mean Nate facing off against Leon Edwards. You know, you talk about potential suitors for Nate. Leon Edwards, I don't think was in anybody's mind.
You know, the Diaz brothers jump in and out. You know, they're out, then they're in, and he came in. He wanted to fight, and he wanted to fight Edwards, and we made it happen.
So this was a fight that he called for, because obviously a win here would expedite him, you know, right to the top of the ladder at welterweight. Is that why he wanted it?
I assume so. I would imagine that's why.
With International Fight Week, full house, sold out. You got Poirier, McGregor, the trilogy fight. Are there any other plans for things that are going to go on during that week that you can reveal?
Not yet. We haven't put anything, you know, first of all, we just got the day that we announced that fight, we got the go-ahead from the governor that we were going to be able to sell it out. And we don't have anything planned yet.
Those guys were going back and forth on Twitter, like in the hours leading up to the announcement of the fight. Was there any chance that thing was going to fall apart?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of chances that was going to fall apart. Yeah.
So you were on some calls that day. Then what happened?
I saw some conspiracy theorists thinking that was to help promote the fight. Absolutely none of that was done to help promote the fight. I can assure you of that. But we got it done.
So what had to happen? What do you have to calm Conor down on the phone? Or, you know, what went on behind the scenes?
Well, both guys. I mean, we had to go back and forth. And listen, man, we've been doing this for 20 years. This is what we do. We get it done.
And finally, Fight Island, is that on the horizon for 2021 as well?
Yeah. And I got to take a trip out there soon here, and we got big plans for Fight Island that will be unrolling here soon. We'll bring it out. I'll do a press conference and, you know, show you guys everything that's going to happen over there.
I imagine it's going to be more than one event. It's going to be, what, like a week of different things, or 2 weeks, something like that?
We're going to do some really cool stuff over there. It was an incredible experience. Those guys have been amazing partners to me for a very long time, and we're going to do some fun stuff here in the future.
And one last thing while I have you, the Contender Series, there are rumors swirling that it's going to be in September this time around. Is there a reason why it's going to be later in the year as opposed to, I guess, in June, July?
Well, everything got pushed back. We had some, you know, this is a rough time to be, you know, running a sports business as it is. And we got the Ultimate Fighter coming out, which we had to push the Ultimate Fighter back, and, you know, we're doing the best we can over here.
Well, lots of moving parts. You're the master of the Rubik's Cube at the UFC. I appreciate your time. Thanks for this, and looking forward to 3 title fights. You got Usman, Masvidal, the rematch. You've got Zhang Weili coming back against Rose Namajunas. Jessica Andrade, I think, going to come forward, put pressure on Valentina Shevchenko. Really looking forward to all of it.
Me too, brother. I can't wait. I'm excited.